Hey everybody. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about driving a 10th gen Civic Si at Autocross and a couple of tips and techniques that you can try to apply to rein the Civic in a little bit and hopefully get better times at Autocross. So being a turbocharged front wheel drive car, sitting a little under 3,000 pounds, it can be difficult at times balancing traction on the front tires just because they have a lot to manage, and with the turbocharged motor that only contributes to the problem. So the largest problem I've had trying to adapt to the Civic Si compared to the naturally aspirated cars I've driven in the past is the turbocharged motor. So up here in Colorado at altitude, there is a pretty notable delay between when you hit the gas and when the turbo will actually spool up and you start actually going where you want to go. So at sea level, when I went down there for Spring Nationals, I noticed it was actually a lot better down there. But up at altitude, it requires a little bit of management to drive around it. So what I've been trying to work with is left foot braking. And the idea here with left foot braking is it allows me to get on the gas earlier, way before the apex. And if I shoot a little bit too early, what I can do is I can just use the brake pedal to gain control and get a little bit of grip back into the tires, transfer the weight, and then finish the corner. And it also allows me to, in some instances, actually get on the gas while I'm still braking. So because the turbo has that delay, it's not really fighting the brakes while I'm trying to brake for the corner. But once I'm finished braking, at that point the turbo sometimes will spool up. It's kind of a juggling act trying to time everything correctly. So I'll play through that lap one more time and you can just kind of watch how I'm trying to balance the inputs between the gas and the brake. And you can just see some of the areas where it worked pretty well and the car accelerates pretty much right out of the corner. And some of the corners where I could have done better. So fortunately, Honda has allowed the ECU to let you hit the gas and the brake at the same time. A lot of modern ECUs will just cut the gas entirely. So if you get everything timed correctly, like I happen to do in the Solon this time around, you can see how the car will kind of dance as you're hitting the left foot brake to get the front tires loaded up, and it'll get the car a little bit unsettled. But then with your right foot still on the gas, you can catch the car and it'll respond that much quicker. So occasionally it works great, but in that last corner I lift off the gas completely, and when you do that, the turbo just shuts down instantly. And once the turbo shut down, you have to build boost back up again. So it took a little while to dig out of that corner. So the last piece of advice out of this video is with any car really, but especially the Civic, where time is added in autocross that you may not even really notice is in sweepers and other areas where you may unintentionally add distance to a corner. So what's really important is being on top of the cones, or at least the important cones, where that minimizes the distance, so you're traveling less distance, means less time. But unfortunately I did a pretty poor job this run actually. So a couple of areas where I could have improved were that long sweeper, actually both portions of it is kind of like a double sweeper. And then also in the finish too, I added some distance there. So with the Civic, it is kind of a struggle making sure that it gets tight to cones in some of those, especially if you're carrying speed, just because you have to hit the brakes and the tires are already having a lot asked of them. So you just try to keep everything as tight as possible and cut down on distance. So hopefully this video gave you some ideas to try, primarily left foot braking to get the turbo spooling that much sooner, and maybe just kind of paying attention to your lines and making sure that you're cutting down distance where you can. So let me know what you thought of this video, if this was something that you enjoyed watching, or if there's something I could have done a little bit differently. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
Again.